Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Zinespiration. I'm Ryan from Pocket Thoughts Zines, and with me as always is Craig from 5 O'Clock Zines. If you like what we do on this show, please click like, click subscribe, tell your friends about it, because this is how you get to check out some awesome zinesters like Drew from Vlasinda Productions is here today. We got some of Drew's zines. We're going to talk about zines and other stuff. Wicked cool. What's up, Drew?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. So tell us a bit about Vlasinda Productions, things that you make.
Okay, so I started Vlasinda, I want to say in 2011 officially, and I was making films, pretty much only just films, and then I was like doing the music for the film, so films and music basically. I was in school and I was helping a buddy of mine, a classmate, with a big production, feature length film, which neither of us had ever done before, and it burned us out really hard. So another buddy of mine was taking a trip up to Oakland. So he asked, like, why don't you take the Friday and Monday off of work and then come with me, clear your head a little bit. So I went with him, and our other friend we were staying with up there, him and all his roommates made zines, and they just had a bunch of them laying around, and I was like looking through them like, what is this? This is incredible. Like, it's just a little book someone made of just random stuff they wanted to put in. So I was like, this is a cool way to still be creative, but not have to like deal with these big productions. And so I kind of shifted my focus, not entirely, like I still do make film, but I kind of use it as a way to get my film ideas that I can't really afford or don't have the technology to put on film. I like to put those ideas into my zines because I can always write or draw whatever my imagination goes, like, instead of limiting to the technology.
Yeah. Speaking of not limiting yourself, recently actually you've started the No Bounds Radio. Started doing a little show on the No Bounds Radio. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So a few months ago, I ran across a post they had made about show proposals and like filling out applications to do either a one-off show or like a continuing show. So I had never done anything like a podcast or like radio before, so I started small. I asked if I could do a one-off, and a few months later they got back to me. So it's called Written Aloud, and it just aired, I believe, was it last weekend? Yeah. It's on the archive now, so anyone can listen to it. But it's basically it's an hour of poetry, short stories, a little bit of music, from not only myself, but I had like Salem Black zines came on and did some readings. Reflective zines came on and read, and then it was I liked it. It was different. It was kind of like editing video, but just without the video part. So it's like, yeah.
So No Bounds Radio is No Bounds Radio is kind of like an NPR and non-for-profit basically.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's based in the UK, and it's kind of like a internet-based radio. I did a show about last year, about when the pandemic started. They kind of kicked off, and I did something like that. So it was really cool to see other people getting involved and people that I also follow, and it was that was really cool. That sounds like a cool show.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and I think I would definitely try to do it again if the opportunity came up.
Sounds like I'm the only one not doing internet radio right now, and I've got the perfect face for radio.
Perfect face.
So let's talk a bit about inspiration here, because like this is the first time that we've seen you face to face, and I've read several of your zines already. And judging from the style and the content, even Craig and I were saying before you joined us, we get kind of like a metal vibe here. And now that I see the long hair and the beard, and like this kind of badassery, I remember my long hair metal days too.
I remember hair.
So I had long hair, man. I had Axl Rose hair. But my question being, like, with the content that goes along with it, like, there's a definite metal feel. Is there like a soundtrack for your zines? Like, what should we listen to when we read these?
Well, oh wow. Just like that's hard because like I listen to a bunch. You would look at me and assume like all the time, like Slayer, Megadeth, like all the time. I mean, sometimes sure,
Olivia
but
Newton-John.
I've been listening to a lot of Phoebe Bridgers, a lot of. So I guess it just depends on my mood. But Phoebe Bridgers also pretty much like is a badass in her own way too. So I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, so it's not so much like my zines coming from what I'm listening to while I draw. It's more I'll get the inspiration to draw, like I'll be up way too late or I've had a couple more beers than I should have maybe, and I'm just like watching some old David Lynch movie maybe, and it's not even like I draw like something related to it. It's more a feeling I get while I'm like, so it's like I'm trying to like visualize my reaction to something through a drawing. Sounds weird, but
Why just
what's that?
why is it just black pen?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, I guess there's no really good reason. Originally, my first few zines, it was because it's cheaper to print in black and white. But I kind of like that kind of style, like kind of old, like Jonan Vasquez. Like I grew up reading like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. It's just like old black and white comics.
Old black and white comics touch my heart. I love even like just the look of this is almost Tim Burton-ish.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I guess that's I grew up with a lot of his VHSs in the house, so that could have been an early.
It kind of has like a doodle kind of feel to it too, like like just scratching away in your textbooks or something at high school or something. It
Yeah.
kind of has that kind of feel.
Yeah, in fact, one of the recent ones I did. I have like so many scattered. This one, this tangible calling number 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one actually is like this is the third of my first zine series I ever created, but I didn't release it till this year because I just didn't finish it. But most of it is made up of stuff I would doodle in my notebook when I was bored in class. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that's kind of what I started. And then a lot of my zines too, like I'll have tons of doodles and then I'll either cut and paste them together or if like I like the idea but it's not quite what I want it to look like, I'll just take that same idea and draw it on a good piece of paper. Because I'm not limited to one medium.
Yeah.
And even like mediums I've never done, like I have an interest in trying them. I was like really bad at like sculpting and pottery, but if the chance ever arose for me to try it again, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, a lot of my creativity just comes from my parents split when I was pretty young, and my dad was pretty young when it happened. So I think he was younger than I am now. I think he was probably like 23, 24 when they split. So, he was just not only going through a divorce, but dealing with this small child. And a lot of it was like, oh, hey, I have this for you. And then he would give me these Star Wars tapes. So a lot of it was just like watching things that I was maybe a little bit too young to watch that were still within the realms of being appropriate, but it just like, for whatever reason, I think it had an effect on my imagination, and the way I think isn't just like a boring, like, I look at something and I describe it as what it is. Like, I tend to look at things or random people I see passing by, and I'm always thinking of like, oh, what's the story of this? And then I will sometimes like make something up.
So you're very active in the zine community too, that I've seen. I actually first saw your stuff on one of Rich from Feral Publications YouTube videos, and was like, oh, check this out. And since you and I first reached out to each other, not only have I gotten your zines, but you do the radio thing involved with like Salem Black and Reflective zines. You've been in Pocket Thoughts Annual #3. I know you contribute to other zines as well.
Mm-hmm.
What have you gotten from the zine community so far, and what are you trying to give back?
I mean, the zine community to me, especially like since the pandemic started, when it wasn't, I was doing a lot of things locally, but since the pandemic started, I've since we can't really have events or zine fests in person, I've tried to make more of an effort to submit to other zines, do online zine fests, and it's been good because I've been able to reach out and meet other scenesters like yourselves, like Canada and Japan. Like, I would have never met you guys probably if I was still doing like the in-person stuff. So what I get out of the zine community though is that there's just like a sense of everyone's kind of got each other's back in a way. Like, not necessarily, I don't want to bash the film community, but I always felt like kind of an outsider within the film community. Like, a lot of my ideas or people are just like, that's too weird, bro. No. But then if I put it in a zine, like, other zinesters read it and they're like, oh, this is freaking incredible. So it's just like, there's more love, and I appreciate that, and I want to do my part and give some of that love back, and just try to get more of my stuff out there, not necessarily just to promote my own work, but to learn about other people. And because every time I submit to a zine, usually I'll either buy a copy or they send me a copy depending on the publisher. But then that zine is full of like dozens of other artists that I usually will look up, and I'll learn about new people that way.
Bring up a couple of really good points there, because with film, there's certain limitations due to budgets, certain effects that you can't do in film that are pretty easy to do if you can draw. You can draw anything, right?
Yeah.
But to make anything in film can be quite costly. But also with the community, snubbing certain ideas that are weird and putting it into a zine for also inexpensive. It's a great way to reach a lot of people. There's a zine that I got not too long ago from someone's Etsy shop it was a mini zine. It was pictures of dinosaurs, and they put googly eyes on these dinosaurs. And it's like, who would have thought, right?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It totally made my day, because nobody who would have thought to do this? Who wants this? I want this.
Yeah.
So, what about inspirations? Is there someone in the zine world or something like that that kind of inspires you, whether it's their style, their art, or what they're doing?
Mm-hmm. A lot of the zinesters, I like Rich a lot from Feral Publications. I watch like every single one of his videos. Like, and him and I communicate almost like indirectly, but almost on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
His style, and not only just his art style, but like what he's doing for the community is just incredible. And like, that inspires me, is like, just trying to be not only a better artist, but to be a better, I guess, human being, or like, you know, a better supporter of other artists.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you would like to collaborate with that, you know, maybe you haven't talked to them, you've seen their work, you're a little shy about reaching out, or you wish they'd reach out to you?
That's a good question.
Because they might be watching.
I've never spoken to Alex Rec, but I have a lot of respect for what Alex does. So I guess that would be one.
So you're working on something at the moment, or you're sort of playing with the idea. That sounds like a really cool idea. I like that. So what kind of because you were heavily into the local community, and now you've kind of opened up into the global community. What do you feel is kind of the future for zines or the zine community itself going forward? Maybe after this pandemic, if it ever ends.
I think it's going to be interesting because, I mean, ideally, like when everyone's back up and running again, like I assume in-person stuff is going to pick up, and you know, people have been locked in for over a year, so they're going to want to hit in-person stuff like harder and faster than they have before. So as much as I'm looking forward to that, it makes me a little sad because I've kind of grown accustomed to doing virtual events, and you know, personally, because it's just, I mean, when there's like live streams, it's harder to control. There's like glitches, there's errors, but I don't know. It's just I'm just hoping that there's still like kind of a global foundation still for the zine community. So, and I guess I'm looking forward to like being a part of that and helping. If there's no one's doing virtual events anymore, then maybe I'll still do it just for the people who want to.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I just hope that, like, you know, when we can do the real thing again, that someone phones me up and says, "We're having a zine fest. We're gonna pay for your airfare. Come on down."
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It's not gonna happen. But if you're watching and you want to pay for my airfare, I'll come.
Yeah, I kind of hope that they mix them both. You know, having a physical zine fest with maybe I don't know, like a screen playing where there is, or even a piece of paper where it's got some, you know, some handles of people that are involved in the online version of it or something like that, or
Yeah.
maybe even a room where they have chats or something, but with a TV where people can live stream in and sort of like just talk about their own zines and something. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of smarter people out there than me, so I'm sure there's some, maybe they've got some ideas, but something like that, you know, really blending the two and making use of the global community as well as just the local community. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, you know, if you're in the area or you want to travel to the area, like come on by in person, but then, you know, still give it that interactive element to where you could be at home and still participate in your own way.
Well, you could have people chat about it. You know, you could have people that that have been in the zine community for a long time, or they've got some thoughts and ideas that they want to talk about, and they could have like they could zoom in and just sort of like chat for 20 minutes about kind of zines and zine making or something like that, and there could be a space where people can watch that and listen to that at the same time as well, as well as being at the physical zine fest.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Well, I don't have a shop right now, so if you really want my stuff, you can find my Instagram. It's at Vlasinda_storm and you can DM me. We have Venmo, we have PayPal, so just however anyone's comfortable. I wax seal stamp everything I mail out, and I'll throw free stickers in with anything that someone wants to order. So, and then like once in a while, well, I actually just bought a button maker, So I've been screwing around with making buttons. So I have a couple available now, but there might be some more down the road. So I'm what's that?
They're a lot of fun, button makers.
Yeah, they really are. I'm having so much fun with it, and I don't want to just make random stuff, even though I feel like it sometimes. But yeah, it's I definitely want to like create some more stuff that I will go well on a button. So, and I'm pretty active on our Instagram page. So pretty much everything we're releasing or working on, like I'll shout it out. So it's a good way to stay on top of what we're doing.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Drew. We've had a really fun time talking to you. Learned a bit too, I think, about just the way that you create, and that's really cool. Look forward to seeing with what you're coming out with next.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed the show as a viewer, so
Nice.
I'm excited to be on it as a participant.
Thanks very much for coming on. I really enjoyed chatting with you and hearing about your style, and I really encourage everybody to, if you like the look of what Vlasinda Productions is doing, then definitely check it out. Check out their Instagram page. Like Ryan said, it's all linked down below. Very, very cool work. Thank you.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.